Visit ShaviZanesGuidance.com if you want to purchase any of the products that I have created. I have 6 different decks for you to choose from: Ancestors Money, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Dr. Francis Cresswell Singh, and Madam C.J. Walker. I also have the Spiritual Cleanse, where you can cleanse your energy every time you take a shower. It consists of frankincense, myrrh, Palo Santos, and sage. You can also order my miniature altars. You can get my book full of channeled messages, and order your Straight Outta Religion hats and t-shirts. You can also get a 15-minute, 30-minute, or 1-hour session over the phone with me where you can ask as many questions as you'd like. So definitely check out the description box as well as the comment section to book your services and to purchase your products.
Honey, are you okay?
Get in.
Truman?
Look.
What?
I predict that in just a moment, we will see a lady on a red bike, followed by a man with flowers, and a Volkswagen Beetle with a dented fender.
Truman.
Look. Lady. Flowers. And...
Truman, this is silly.
There it is! There it is! There's the dented beetle! Yes! Don't you want to know how I did that? I'll tell you. You're on a loop. They go around the block. They come back. They go around again. They just go round and round. Round and round.
You know, I invited Rita and Marlon for a barbecue on Sunday. I'm going to
won't be
make my
here
potato
Sunday.
salad, and I need you to remind me that we need more charcoal.
Are you listening to a word I'm saying?
Thank you all for joining. If you find this message resonates, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. So y'all, The Truman Show. That clip that I just posted was a portion of the movie. This is my first time actually seeing it in its duration. I've attempted to watch the movie at least twice prior, and I fell asleep within the first 25 minutes of the movie. So I never got a chance to get all the way through, but I was finally able to get through it today, and I was pleasantly surprised in terms of the synchronicities. Like, since I've been on my journey, let's see, it's been about 7 years now since I first awakened. I found that many of the downloads that I have received was very similar to what was in that movie. And that movie was created back in 93, I believe. So in that particular clip, and this is a spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to click off, come back, after you watch it. But in that particular clip, he was actually awakening to the fact that everything was happening in patterns, right? Things that he had never paid attention to. He was starting to pay attention to it. And so he became more conscious of what was happening. So he's like, okay, within the next couple of minutes, this is getting ready to happen. A woman is going to come by on a bicycle. A yellow car is going to drive by. A man is going to walk by with flowers, because he noticed that the same scenario kept repeating, but he just never took note of it until he had awakened. And in that moment, he also realized that his wife was likely a part of the whole shenanigans, okay? Of him being watched and monitored and being placed on live broadcasts for people in other countries to pretty much be entertained by his life without his knowledge. So he was completely oblivious to that until that very moment. And so it reminded me of how the chosen seed, many of you, when you begin to awaken, the first thing that you started to look at was those people that was around you. And you begin to realize that you had a whole lot of gatekeepers around you, but you just didn't notice it until you noticed it, right? And in that movie, practically everyone that he tried to call to their attention, like, hey, don't you notice that something is off here? Don't you notice that this scenario keeps happening over here? Practically everyone was saying, no, you're crazy, or is this one of your made up stories again? That's how you know if you are surrounded by a bunch of sleeple and sheeple who are definitely a part of the matrix and the whole agenda, at least spiritually, to keep you in a docile, passive, zombie-like state, okay? So that movie was a clear depiction of that. I do want to do a reading today just to tap in and see how that movie might relate to your current awakening. And if there's anything that you need to know. Because he discovered that the person who was the closest to him, his wife, was actually the biggest key player in keeping him asleep. Okay? The biggest key player in keeping him asleep. All for the sake of working for the powers that were, or those beings who was actually getting paid pretty much to monitor his life and to turn it into the Truman Show. And they had been monitoring him since he was a baby, literally from the womb. And I talked to you all about this when we speak about how they take your blood, you know, they take down your birth date, the time that you was born, the location, all of these things is so that they can track your natal chart. They know exactly who you are. And another thing is, specifically for the indigenous man, woman, and child here in America, the names that was given to you during the time of the kidnapping, right, which they like to call enslavement, during the time of the kidnapping, is also directly connected to key players who would go on to bid on your life, okay? Watching you from behind the scenes, keeping up with what you got going on because they feel like they own you. If you carry their name in their minds, they own you. Okay? So there's a whole lot going on with this system. And by no means is this message meant to heighten people to the point of, you know, you feel like, okay, everybody is just watching you. Everybody is against you. Because regardless of if everybody is or if they're not, they can't harm you. Even in the movie, in the Truman Show, they could not harm him. They could not do anything against him because he was needed, very much so needed in their programming. He was the star player. So they can't bring any harm to you. So regardless of who's watching you, who's following, who's been keeping up, gang stalking, it does not matter. What matters is you learn how to navigate in order to pull yourself out of the matrix so that you can see it for what it is and do your spiritual work to clear it. Now, the magician is coming out in the reverse. A lot of what's going on as far as those karmics that have been working up against you, they do it spiritually. These are people, these are pawns that are sent into your life in order to spiritually manipulate you so that they can block you from existing or experiencing is the word I'm looking for, experiencing the life that is inherently yours. Look at that. The Five of Wands is at the bottom of the deck here. Okay, so there's a lot of energy around that doesn't want you to get to that next level, constantly trying to pull you back down with them. Okay, because they know that that next level looks like you being independent and also taking off to the next phase of your life here. Look at that. They're trying to chase you down. They are trying to chase you down. Now consider in the movie, what really stood out was that when he was a little boy, his father ended up drowning in front of him. That was also a part of the whole screenplay to fool him into thinking that his father had drowned in front of him. But his father was also a part of keeping him asleep. So he thought his father was dead. Now this created a fear within him, a fear of getting into water, a fear of even going near water, getting on boats and things like that. But yet he had a dream of leaving his hometown and going off to another country. That was his ultimate desire. But because he had such a fear of being on the water, it kept him stuck. It kept him stuck and stagnant. Now, that was the main strategy that the powers that were used against him in the movie. They needed to create a trauma that would be the invisible chain to keep him from stepping outside of the box that they had placed him in so that they could watch him and monitor him and everything that he did to control him. They had to start from his childhood and create a trauma that would be the invisible chain. And that's a large component of what these karmics have had to do. They were the key players, the pawns in your movie, if you will, to create traumas for you so that you would never feel confident enough to expand your horizons and to see what else was out there, to move forward independently and to create generational wealth and to know that you have the power and the ability to do so. It was all about keeping you stuck. It's like them chasing you. The moment that you got ready to set sail, they would come running, okay, as the perfect distraction. They would send in, and like I said, this is spiritually, but because so many people are walking sheeple, zombies, and just easily manipulated spiritually, the powers that were don't even have to talk to them directly. They don't have to meet them directly. All they have to do is just manipulate the energy of the atmosphere, and all of the zombies do exactly what they're guided to do. Okay? They do exactly what they're guided to do because they are on a low vibrational frequency. So low that the puppet master can be on the other side of the globe and manipulate things for the sleeple and the sheeple so that they'll be the perfect pawns to work up against you, to circle around you, to hunt you down so that you never step outside of the matrix and see that it's more to life than what they have taught you. So again, they send in, because even in the movie, once he realized that his wife was also a part of the, manipulating him and keeping him asleep, they said, okay, well, we're going to come up with a new strategy. We got to send in another woman that he might be even more physically attracted to. We're going to send him to his job. We're going to send her to his job. And then that will then put him under a sleep state all over again, because she will be the perfect distraction so that he can forget about all of these things that he's starting to have revelations about. But of course, he didn't take the bait. That's the key. Are you going to allow them to send in the perfect distraction that places you right back under that sleep state, where you just completely forget about all of the downloads that you received, all of the synchronicities, all of the, supernatural experiences? The whole objective is to put you back under. And so, make no mistake, these beings, they have their way of watching us, right? They watch us through our algorithms, the things that we look up on the internet, the things that we tend to gravitate towards and watch. They listen to us, the messages that we post and the people that we consult with. They watch you. They know what type of things you're buying because mostly everything is digital, using your card. They understand the patterns. They know where you're traveling, where you typically are. You got the Bluetooth in your car. You got the Bluetooth on your phone. These beings know exactly what's going on and when it's happening. However, while they're watching you, the Most High Mother and Father and your spiritual team is watching them. So their eyes are really, they hold no match to the eyes of the higher source, the highest source that is always, that's always watching them. Close the door, baby. And so because they're being watched, these beings are also being held accountable, especially when you come into the realization of what's going on and you start calling judgment. So let's see. Many of you are ready for the next level, and you have karmics that's trying to come back in, okay? They are trying to come back in. They are trying to manipulate you and put you right back to sleep so that you don't get too far outside of their reach. Because once you have stepped outside of the matrix, the next level, it's only up from there. They can't drain the life out of you anymore. They can't use you as their supply. So let's see. I'm clarifying the Magician in reverse. So you have the Journey card. See, they want to prevent you from taking this journey. That's why I'm saying even the Three of Wands is the same energy, okay? It could literally be you traveling and saying, you know what, I want to go explore. I want to see the world. I want to leave this particular town that I've been raised in. It's time for me to see what else is out there. There is energetic manipulation that's trying to prevent you from exploring whatever that means for you. It could be you stepping outside of a belief system and taking a journey to see what else is out there. Or it could be physical travel. Okay. It could be you leaving behind, turning away from past karmics to see who else is out there. Is your, to embrace your tribe outside of your family, right? Let's clarify. I want to get another one for the Magician in the reverse. There are people that want you to believe that you don't possess the power. You don't possess the courage. Yeah, for some of you, it deals with your occupation. You may want to get out there and explore something new and to really embark on your talents and to go off independently, right? But because you have those gatekeepers even at work that wants, that's manipulating situations so that you'll think that you have to be codependent on a particular job or a particular title. Like, it's the brainwashing strategy and tactics is in everything. Okay? Healthcare, school system, judicial system, your career, family, relationships, like it's everywhere. You literally have to break the chains from every direction. And so there is this fight. And look at this. The bottom of the deck says false person. Is that not what we're talking about here? False person. You're going to start to take the mask off of these beings. You're going to uncover the true nature behind these beings who are nothing more than gatekeepers in your life. You're going to start to realize that they was never meant to be around you. They was only meant to keep you asleep, only meant to create traumas for you so that you would never feel empowered enough to take your power back and to rise into your divinity, to receive your inheritance. That movie is very, very relevant to this message. I strongly suggest that you go watch it. Even if you've seen it before, you may want to watch it again because there could be something in the movie that you need to see now. You have the card of paycheck here. Let's see. What about the paycheck? I feel like this is connected to this occupation. Something that, look at that. Riches, wealth and riches, financial security. Goodness gracious. Something is connected, like as far as your wealth, your occupation, whatever this thing is, will you be up burning the midnight oil, doing something that you're very good at? It has a strong potential to really level you up financially. Okay. But the chains have to be broken. You have to free your mind, awaken to the truth. Okay. Something about a mental shift for sure. And then we have here, okay, we have two cards, finding a way out. And then we have aura, always shining, radiant energy, authenticity, inner peace, healthy on all levels, mind, body, and spirit, magnetic and attractive. See, this is that transformation that you're going through that these beings are trying to prevent you from fully undergoing, because there's many layers that gets pulled back. It's not just one awakening and then, okay, you're completely free from the matrix. No, because they have their hands on so many different areas of your existence. You have to awaken to see where the pawns are placed in every area of existence. Like I was saying, relationship wise, work wise, some of your friendships, family dynamics, your belief systems, healthcare, judicial system, politics. Like you have to awaken in every area to fully free yourself. And so this is the card that says finding a way out. Finding a way out of the matrix, literally, is what this is all about. And these beings come in to try to pull you back down this ladder. Like, no, they're getting too far out of reach. So they send in another one. And then they send in another one. And then they send in another one. Everybody is playing their roles in this matrix here. And it's a matter of you being able to discern who's who, what's what. Because ultimately, you are destined to experience the luxuries of life. You're destined to get there and to independently experience this without having to be codependent on anyone, or where no one else can come in and say, I gave that to you. Therefore, they can't take it from you because they didn't give it to you. So this is a part of your destiny. Let me clarify this false person card. Heart chakra. See, people try to pull on your emotions. Bottom of the deck says heartache. See, that's what I'm saying. The false person that comes into your life is always going to be the one that's closest to you. Okay? It could be your child's, mother, your children's father. It could be your husband, your ex-husband, your wife, your ex-wife, long-term girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you got going on. It is very, very important to know that typically the very person who can keep you asleep and prevent you from getting to that next level is usually the one that has the strongest impact on your emotions and on your heart chakra. And that's why I was saying in the movie, it was all about creating traumas, trauma bonding. And they started for him at a young age so that it would always be his vice, the invisible chain that would prevent him from stepping outside of the boundaries that they had created for him. So the heart chakra, false person, this person is coming in, their objective is to pull on your heart chakra. Their objective is to try to ignite that natural compassion that you have, that natural empathy that you have for people. This says grief, emotional struggle, sadness, tears come from the heart, sorrow is the price paid. Like somebody wants you to really feel sorry for them and they feel like that's their entryway back into your energy so that you don't end up taking this journey here. Because let me clarify the journey card. Sacred gifts. This journey is going to allow you to realize some gifts that have been suppressed within you. This journey is a very necessary journey. You're going to receive gifts for taking this journey. Receiving something special. Receiving something special. You've manifested this though. You put the energy out there into the atmosphere. You manifested this. Let me see. Get another card for the journey. So this says piece of the pie. That's what I'm saying. This is a beautiful energy. It's like you get your portion because you are making a firm decision to take this journey and you're taking it alone. You're leaving people behind, but they're watching you. It's like they're still standing there waiting to see, are they really going to do it? Are they bold enough to leave everything and everyone behind to take this new journey? I definitely sense that you are, because you know on the other side of this thing is sweet. It's beautiful. Okay. There are gifts that await you here. Let me see. What other card do I want to clarify? Let me clarify. I'm going to clarify this occupation card because whatever these gifts are, it's directly connected to something that you are naturally good at. Okay. That card came out fast. The sweet life. Look at that. I just said it's going to be very sweet. Indulgence, pleasure, comfort, fulfillment, carefree life. So regardless of what this occupation is, this is something very different. It's not something where you have to put in heavy labor, where you feel tired, exhausted, burnt out. No, this is something that you just love to do. You just love to do it. You could do it all day, every day, and you just so happen to get paid for it. That's your inheritance. This is what's going to bring in all of this wealth, all of this abundance. Okay? This is your sacred gifts. These are your sacred gifts naturally within you. No one else can take it from you. No one else can duplicate it, replicate it. Only you can bring these gifts to the world here. And it's going to bring about lots of pleasure, lots of comfort, a very carefree life. Let me get another one for occupation. Investigate. So some of you are just natural investigators. Your occupation could be to dive deeper, to search for clues, hidden evidence, to seek truths here, to examine things, to analyze signs, okay, to compile facts. Like this could be something that you really enjoy doing and you could stay up all night dissecting and, looking into things on a deeper level. Let me see, I'm going to get one more for occupation. So you have abandoned in the storm, lack of support during a difficult time. I feel like some of you started to dive into your creative pursuits, right? You might have had these ideas and you shared them with the wrong people, the karmics, okay, the pawns that was around you, that was a part of this whole simulation, right? And they abandoned you in those moments where you needed them to support you, when you needed them to cheer you on, or to be, that person that you can lean on. They abandoned you, but you still continue to pursue your destiny. But I strongly sense, because at the bottom of the deck, it says intentions of betrayal, trauma, distress, harm done to cause pain and suffering. That was their objective. Like, okay, I'm going to abandon this person in the midst of the storm, because they wanted to betray you. That was their intention, so that they could redirect your focus away from these natural gifts, these creative ideas, innovative ideas that you have here. And so it was just, look at that, because they knew that you was going to attract a lot of wealth from whatever this is. They know how gifted you are. They know it. They are aware that this would attract a lot of wealth into your life, and that they would not be able to partake in that wealth. Very jealous energy here. It says a large sum of money, high value, high income, windfall, profits, financial success, wealth, fortune, and prosperity. How many cards do I have to pull out that's referencing a large inheritance? It's all over the reading. So even if we go back to the Truman Show, that movie, he was owed a lot of money by the time it was all said and done. Now, I don't recall them having any discussions about him getting paid, but his life was the entertainment for many people across the world from the time of his birth up until he awakened. And I think they made mention about his 40th birthday in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. So the number 4 is the Emperor in the Tarot deck, which strongly deals with, thought it was raining, which strongly deals with being an entrepreneur, being a leader, taking your power back, but also being very financially secure and stable. He was owed his inheritance. Technically, in that movie, he should have gotten paid, like big paid, from the time of his birth all the way up until the time that he had realized what was going on. Pain and suffering, everything. He would have gotten big paid. And so your inheritance gets released to you once you release these unhealthy individuals that's been trying to sabotage you for the longest, because they know that you're getting close to something that's going to bring a lot of wealth into your life. They know it, but they also know that it's going to require for you to take this journey, okay? To step outside of the confounds of your comfort zone and to do something very, very different. So let me see. The choice. Is that what that says? No, that says the chalice. Emotional renewal. Emotional renewal. So that's the Ace of Cups energy. Brand new beginning. I'm telling you, this is going to bring you a lot of emotional fulfillment. I want to pull real quick. Let's see. What deck do I want to use? Oh, we didn't even do the declare and decree, y'all. I'm tripping. Since I'm doing a slightly different setup, let's see. So what do you want to clear? So this says, all spiritual warfare waged against myself and my loved ones is now destroyed in spirit and in flesh. So you can screenshot that, write it down on paper and burn it. Clearing out all spiritual warfare against myself and my loved ones. Okay? So that is in alignment, because your very first card was the Magician in the reverse. I'm telling you, the spiritual warfare is at an all-time high right now, because these beings are terrified that you're getting too far outside of their grip, too far outside of their reach. They can't control you anymore. You're waking up to everything that's been, every false, illusionary. You're waking up to all of that, okay? And so they're going heavy. They're going really heavy on the spell work. But of course, I always tell people, Other people's intentions does not supersede your intentions for yourself. So even if they're sending spell work to try to block your wealth, to try to prevent you from feeling inspired, to try to get you lazy or procrastinating, if you are doing your own alchemy, which you should be, to create the opposite effect in your life, then what you do for yourself will override any and everything that others send towards you. Always. Always. Okay? So I'm just going to take a message from my book before we close out. Let me see. I'll pull a card so I can see what number to turn to. So we have here kerosene, the number 7, Aries energy. Accelerate, encourage, stimulate. So it's like a catalyst is what I'm getting here with this card. So the number 7, this is my book, Guided Light. It's full of channeled messages. Of course, it's not meant to be read from front to back. It's meant for you to open and turn to whatever page you feel guided to turn to. In the back of the book, there's 56 random messages. So whatever message, whatever number shows up, it'll be a direct indicator of what number you should turn to and just read. So let's see, number 7. Patience is a valuable quality. Although it might feel like growth is slow, use this waiting period to maintain positive energy and create loving memories. Keep your vision clear, as divine timing is working to manifest your desires. At the same time, let go of anything or anyone that weighs you down. Avoid clinging to situations out of fear of abandonment or loneliness. Instead, step back and allow any unstable foundations to fall away. Embrace solitude as an opportunity to calm your fears and focus on thriving, so you'll be ready to welcome blessings when they come. So that's something to really think about, because a lot of times people hold on to situations out of fear of being alone. And that was an issue for Truman. You know, he had a lot of people trauma bonding with him, like, oh, I've been around you since day one, and I know you so well, and why do you want to leave, and XYZ. You'll experience that the further you pull away from the matrix, the more people want to cling to you. So that's my message for you all. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you've seen The Truman Show, leave a comment and let me know how that relates to your personal experience and your awakening. I'll talk to y'all soon.